Imagine walking through life unshaken, like a mountain untouched by the strongest winds. No insult, no criticism, no negativity can throw you off balance. Is that even possible? Absolutely. But it requires a shift in perspective, a new way of seeing yourself and the world. First, let's break a myth. People don't make you angry, you do. Anger is not something given to you, it's something you create in response to an external event. When someone insults you, the words themselves are powerless. It's your mind that attaches meaning to them. The secret to never getting angry is realizing that you control the switch. You decide whether to react or to let it pass through you like a breeze through an open window. Now consider this. Most people's actions are reflections of their own struggles, not yours. The person cutting you off in traffic, the rude cashier, the impatient boss, they're not attacking you personally. They're dealing with their own frustrations, insecurities, and stresses. When you understand this, you stop taking things personally. You begin to see their pain instead of feeling your own. Detachment is power. Think of an eagle flying high above the storm. It doesn't fight the wind, it rises above it. In the same way, don't engage with negativity. Observe it, acknowledge it, but don't let it sink in. When someone says something hurtful, imagine their words as leaves floating on a river. Let them pass without grabbing onto them. Another powerful mindset shift. People's opinions are just that, opinions. They're not facts. If someone calls you lazy, foolish, or weak, it doesn't make it true. It only affects you if you start believing it. Instead of defending yourself, ask, is this opinion worth my peace? If not, let it go. Next, embrace a calm mind. Meditation, deep breathing, and self-awareness are not just buzzwords, they are shields against negativity. When you train your mind to be still, external chaos loses its grip on you. A calm mind is like a deep ocean. The waves on the surface may be turbulent, but underneath, there's peace. And finally, gratitude is the ultimate antidote to frustration. When you focus on what's good, the little things that used to bother you fade into insignificance. Instead of being annoyed by someone's rudeness, feel grateful for the patience you are developing. Instead of getting angry, appreciate the chance to practice emotional control. No one can make you angry, only you can. This is a hard truth to accept because it's so much easier to believe that other people are responsible for our emotions. When someone insults you, criticizes you, or acts in a way that feels unfair, the natural response is to blame them for making you upset. But the truth is, anger doesn't come from them. It comes from you. It is an internal reaction, not an external force. This means that at any moment, you have the power to decide whether to feel angry or to remain at peace. Imagine two people receiving the exact same insult. One explodes in rage, feeling deeply offended and personally attacked. The other simply shrugs, unfazed, as if the words were meaningless. The difference is not in the insult itself, but in how each person processes it. This proves that anger is not caused by what happens, but by how we interpret it. You may think, but some things are truly offensive, yet what offends one person might not bother another at all. This shows that the power lies within the individual, not in the external event. When you feel anger rising, pause for a moment and ask yourself, why am I giving this power over me? The moment you realize that you are in control, everything changes. If you believe that someone can make you mad, you are essentially handing them the keys to your emotional state. But if you understand that your anger is a choice, you take back your power. This is not about suppressing emotions or pretending things don't affect you. It's about recognizing that your emotional response is entirely within your control. If someone criticizes you, you have a choice. You can take it personally, allowing it to ruin your mood, or you can see it for what it is, just words. Words only have the power you give them. If a child calls you a silly name, you don't take it seriously. But if an adult says the same thing, suddenly it hurts. Why? Because you assign more weight to the words. In reality, they are just sounds in the air. One of the biggest causes of anger is unmet expectations. We expect people to treat us fairly, to respect us, to be kind, and when they don't, we feel wronged. But expecting the world to always act according to our wishes is a recipe for frustration. The moment you accept that people will sometimes be rude, selfish, or inconsiderate, and that this is just part of life, you stop being so easily upset. You develop emotional resilience. Instead of reacting with anger, you respond with understanding. Anger often arises when we feel a loss of control. Someone cuts you off in traffic, and you feel powerless in that moment, so you lash out internally. But what if you accepted that some things are beyond your control? If you truly understood that getting angry does nothing to change the situation, you would stop wasting energy on it. The world does not bend to our desires, but we can bend our reactions to the world. And that is the ultimate power. Most of the time, when people treat you poorly, it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. This is a simple but powerful truth that can change the way you react to negativity. When someone is rude, dismissive, or even outright cruel, it's easy to take it personally. You might think, "What did I do to deserve this?" Or "Why are they treating me this way?" But in reality, their actions are usually a reflection of their own struggles, insecurities, and emotions rather than a direct attack on you. Think about a time when you were stressed, exhausted, or overwhelmed. Were you the most patient and kind person in those moments? Probably not. Maybe you snapped at someone without meaning to, or responded in a way that wasn't your best. Did that mean you hated the person you snapped at? No, it simply meant you were dealing with your own emotions. This is the same for others. People who lash out, insult, or criticize are often projecting their inner frustrations onto the world around them. When you understand this, you stop taking their negativity as a personal attack. Imagine walking down the street and a stranger suddenly yells something rude at you. Your initial reaction might be anger or confusion. But what if you knew that this person was having the worst day of their life? What if they had just lost their job, were struggling with a personal tragedy, or were dealing with unbearable stress? Would their words still hurt you the same way? Probably not. Instead, you might feel a sense of compassion, or at least detachment from the situation. The truth is, you never really know what someone else is going through. This shift in perspective is incredibly freeing. It allows you to move through life without being easily shaken by the moods and behaviors of others. Instead of thinking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin to see it as, "This has nothing to do with me." When someone is aggressive, critical, or impatient, they are revealing more about their state of mind than about you. Happy, fulfilled, and emotionally secure people don't go around trying to tear others down. They don't need to. Negativity often comes from pain, and when you recognize this, you become less reactive to it. It's also important to remember that everyone sees the world through their own lens, shaped by their experiences, beliefs, and emotions. If someone makes a negative comment about you, it's not necessarily a reflection of who you are. It's a reflection of how they see the world. One person might admire your confidence, while another might interpret it as arrogance. One person might appreciate your honesty, while another sees it as rudeness. Neither perception is an absolute truth. It's just their perspective. Once you grasp this, you stop trying to control how people see you. You no longer need to prove yourself or defend against unfair criticism. When you detach from the idea that other people's behavior is about you, you gain a sense of peace. You stop wasting energy being upset over things that have nothing to do with you. Instead of reacting with anger or hurt, you learn to observe with understanding. And in that understanding, you find freedom. Detachment is one of the most powerful tools you can develop if you want to remain unbothered by negativity. When you detach, you create space between yourself and the external world, allowing yourself to rise above situations rather than being consumed by them. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop allowing things to control your emotions. Just like an eagle soars high above the storm rather than getting caught in it, you can learn to elevate yourself above negativity, drama, and unnecessary emotional turmoil. Most people live in reaction mode. The moment someone says something rude, they immediately get defensive. The moment they encounter a frustrating situation, they allow stress to take over. This is because they are too attached to everything, other people's words, opinions, expectations, and even minor inconveniences. The problem with this attachment is that it makes you emotionally vulnerable. If your sense of peace is dependent on external factors, then you will always be at the mercy of what happens around you. Detachment frees you from this cycle. One way to practice detachment is to stop engaging with negativity. When someone insults you, criticizes you unfairly, or tries to provoke you, the natural instinct is to fight back. But what if you did nothing? What if you simply let it pass like wind blowing through an open field? The more you resist negativity, the more power you give it. By choosing not to engage, you remain in control. It's not about being passive, it's about understanding that not everything requires your reaction. When you ignore negativity, it loses its ability to affect you. Another aspect of detachment is emotional distance. This doesn't mean you suppress your feelings, but rather that you don't let them dictate your state of mind. For example, if someone criticizes you, you don't immediately assume it's a personal attack. Instead, you step back and analyze it objectively. Is there truth in what they're saying? If yes, I can learn from it. If not, it's just noise. When you develop this mindset, you become unshakable because you are no longer easily offended or thrown off course by other people's words. Detachment also applies to expectations. A lot of frustration comes from expecting people to behave a certain way, expecting fairness, kindness, or understanding. But reality doesn't always match those expectations. People will be rude, situations will be unfair, and things won't always go as planned. When you detach from rigid expectations, you stop being constantly disappointed. Instead of thinking, this shouldn't be happening, you accept it as part of life and move forward without unnecessary frustration. One of the most effective ways to strengthen detachment is mindfulness. When you practice mindfulness, you learn to observe your thoughts and emotions without being controlled by them. You realize that you are not your emotions. You are the observer of them. This shift allows you to navigate life with calmness and clarity. Instead of being pulled into every emotional storm, you learn to stay grounded. The world around you may be chaotic, but inside, you remain at peace. People's opinions are just that. Opinions. They are not facts. They do not define you, and they only have power over you if you allow them to. Too often, people live their lives in fear of what others think. They hold back from expressing themselves, making decisions, or taking risks because they are afraid of judgment. But here's the truth. No matter what you do, someone will always have an opinion about it. Some will approve, others will criticize, and many won't even care. If you let every opinion shape your emotions, you will never be free. Think about how differently people see the same situation. One person might admire someone's confidence, while another might see it as arrogance. One person might appreciate honesty, while another might find it rude. These opinions are not reflections of reality. They are reflections of personal perspectives shaped by experiences, biases, and emotions. If opinions were facts, everyone would agree on everything. But they don't, because opinions are subjective. This means that when someone says something negative about you, it doesn't make it true. It only affects you if you believe it. A powerful way to stop being affected by opinions is to ask yourself, does this opinion matter? Most of the time, the answer is no. Why should a stranger's words determine your self-worth? Why should someone else's viewpoint control your emotions? Even people close to you, family, friends, colleagues, can have opinions that are based on their own fears or limitations. If you let their doubts become your doubts, you give away your power. Instead of focusing on what others think, focus on what you know to be true about yourself. Detaching from opinions doesn't mean you ignore all feedback. Constructive criticism can be valuable, but there's a difference between useful feedback and baseless negativity. If someone offers insight that can help you grow, take it in without letting it damage your self-esteem. But if someone is just being negative, dismiss it as noise. Not every opinion deserves your attention. One way to strengthen this mindset is to develop unshakable self-awareness. When you know who you are, what you stand for, and what you want, opinions lose their grip on you. If someone calls you lazy, but you know you work hard, why let it bother you? If someone calls you unworthy, but you know your own value, why believe them? The more secure you are in yourself, the less you seek external validation. Another strategy is to stop seeking approval. Many people shape their lives around wanting to be liked, but this is an endless trap. The more you try to please everyone, the more you lose yourself. Instead of trying to fit into others' expectations, focus on being true to yourself. Not everyone will understand or support you, and that's okay. The goal is not to be liked by everyone. The goal is to live authentically without fear. When you detach from opinions, you gain freedom. You stop letting words control your emotions, and you start living life on your own terms. Instead of reacting to every judgment, you move forward with confidence, knowing that no one else's perception defines who you are. Most people go through life absorbing negativity without realizing it. They let other people's words, moods, and opinions seep into their minds, influencing their emotions and actions. This happens because they don't separate themselves from what is happening around them. But the truth is, just because negativity exists doesn't mean you have to take it in. You can observe it without absorbing it, just like a mirror reflects light without holding on to it. When you master this skill, you become immune to unnecessary stress, drama, and emotional pain. Imagine you are walking in the rain. If you have an umbrella, the rain falls around you but doesn't touch you. Without the umbrella, you get drenched. This is how negativity works. If you lack emotional awareness, you absorb everything: anger, criticism, frustration, and it affects your mood. But when you build emotional distance, negativity slides off you like raindrops on a waterproof coat. You acknowledge its presence, but you don't let it sink in. The key to this is detachment. Many people take things personally because they don't separate themselves from external events. If someone is rude, they immediately feel offended. If someone criticizes them, they feel attacked. But not every comment, action, or situation is about you. When someone lashes out, it's often a reflection of their inner world, not yours. If a person is angry and takes it out on you, their emotions existed before you even entered the picture. Recognizing this helps you create space between yourself and their negativity. Instead of reacting emotionally, you can step back and see things for what they are. A useful technique for this is mindfulness. When you are mindful, you become an observer of your thoughts and feelings rather than being consumed by them. If someone says something hurtful, instead of instantly reacting, pause and notice your emotional response. Ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Do I need to carry this with me? In most cases, the answer is no. By choosing not to engage with negativity, you free yourself from its control. Another important mindset shift is realizing that you don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. Just because someone is trying to provoke you doesn't mean you have to respond. Silence is often more powerful than words. Walking away from drama doesn't mean you are weak. It means you are in control. Let others get caught up in negativity while you remain unaffected. This also applies to social media, news, and the environment you surround yourself with. If you constantly expose yourself to negative content, toxic people, or stressful situations, it's easy to become overwhelmed. Protect your mental space by limiting your exposure to unnecessary negativity. Choose what you allow into your mind. Just as you wouldn't eat rotten food, don't consume toxic thoughts. When you learn to observe negativity without absorbing it, you gain emotional freedom. You stop being a victim of circumstances and start being the master of your inner world. No matter what happens around you, your peace remains untouched. A calm mind is a strong mind. In a world filled with distractions, stress, and unpredictable situations, maintaining inner peace is one of the greatest strengths you can develop. Most people allow their emotions to be dictated by external events. They react instantly to criticism, bad news, or frustrating encounters, letting these moments control their state of mind. But when you cultivate a calm mind, you become unshakable. No matter what happens around you, you remain centered. You don't allow negativity to pull you into unnecessary emotional storms. Instead, you handle challenges with clarity and composure. One of the biggest benefits of a calm mind is that it prevents impulsive reactions. When people get angry, stressed, or overwhelmed, they often act in ways they later regret. They say things they don't mean, make rash decisions, or allow frustration to cloud their judgment. But when your mind is calm, you create space between stimulus and response. If someone insults you, instead of reacting with anger, you pause, you assess whether their words are even worth your energy. This moment of awareness is what separates a person who is controlled by emotions from a person who controls their emotions. A calm mind also enhances problem solving. When you are stressed or overwhelmed, even small challenges feel like massive obstacles. Your thoughts become scattered and you struggle to think clearly. But when you develop inner stillness, you gain mental clarity. You can assess situations logically rather than emotionally. Instead of panicking over difficulties, you focus on solutions. This mindset makes you more effective in handling life's ups and downs. One of the best ways to cultivate a calm mind is through meditation. Meditation is not about silencing thoughts, but about learning to observe them without attachment. When you meditate regularly, you develop the ability to remain peaceful even when chaos surrounds you. It trains your mind to be like a deep ocean. No matter how turbulent the waves on the surface, the depths remain still. Even a few minutes of mindfulness each day can significantly improve your ability to stay calm under pressure. Breathing techniques are another powerful tool. When stress hits, most people take shallow, rapid breaths, which signals to the brain that something is wrong. This increases anxiety and tension. But when you consciously slow your breathing, taking deep, measured breaths, your nervous system shifts into a state of relaxation. This simple practice can instantly bring you back to a state of calm, no matter what is happening around you. Your environment also plays a role in maintaining a calm mind. If you are constantly surrounded by negativity, whether from toxic people, social media, or unnecessary drama, it becomes harder to stay peaceful. Protect your mental space by setting boundaries. Be selective about what you expose yourself to. Just as you wouldn't let garbage pile up in your home, don't let mental clutter take over your mind. A calm mind gives you power over your emotions. It allows you to move through life with confidence, wisdom, and grace. While others get caught up in stress and negativity, you remain steady. You don't react, you respond. And that difference changes everything. Emotional control is one of the most valuable skills you can develop if you want to remain unbothered by others. Many people go through life being ruled by their emotions, reacting impulsively to every situation that upsets them. They allow anger, frustration, and irritation to dictate their actions, which often leads to regret, unnecessary stress, and conflict. But when you master emotional control, You take charge of your inner world. You decide how you respond rather than letting external events determine your state of mind. One of the biggest misconceptions about emotional control is that it means suppressing feelings. This is not true. Suppressing emotions only leads to them building up until they explode in unhealthy ways. Emotional control is not about ignoring how you feel. It's about managing your emotions in a way that serves you rather than harms you. It means acknowledging your emotions without letting them control you. The first step to emotional control is self-awareness. You cannot manage what you don't understand. Pay attention to what triggers you. What situations, words, or behaviors make you feel angry or upset? Instead of reacting immediately, take a moment to analyze your feelings. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Often we react emotionally because of unresolved personal issues rather than the situation itself. By understanding your triggers, you can begin to reprogram your responses. Another key to emotional control is learning how to pause before reacting. Most emotional outbursts happen because people don't give themselves time to process their feelings. The next time you feel yourself getting upset, pause. Take a deep breath. Count to 5 if you need to. This small gap between stimulus and response gives you the power to choose how you want to react. Instead of saying or doing something impulsively, you give yourself the opportunity to handle the situation with wisdom and composure. Reframing your perspective also helps in managing emotions. Many times, what upsets us is not the actual situation, but how we interpret it. For example, if someone speaks to you rudely, you might immediately feel disrespected. But if you reframe the situation and consider that the person might be having a bad day or dealing with their own problems, your emotional reaction changes. You realize that their behavior is more about them than about you. Practicing emotional control doesn't mean you will never feel anger or frustration. It simply means you don't allow those emotions to dictate your actions. By mastering this skill, you maintain inner peace no matter what happens around you. Not everything deserves your time, energy, or attention. In life, you will encounter negativity, criticism, and situations that try to pull you into unnecessary drama. But the truth is, most of these things are distractions that add no real value to your life. The more you learn to ignore what doesn't matter, the more peace and focus you gain. You don't have to respond to every insult, defend yourself against every opinion, or engage in every argument. The ability to ignore negativity is a powerful tool that keeps you emotionally strong and unbothered. One of the biggest mistakes people make is giving too much attention to things that don't benefit them. When someone says something negative, they immediately feel the need to react. When they see something online that offends them, they waste time arguing about it. But not everything requires a response. In fact, most things don't. Every time you engage with negativity, you give it power. You allow it to enter your mind and affect your emotions. But when you ignore it, it loses its grip on you. Think of your attention as a currency. Just like you wouldn't spend money on something worthless, you shouldn't spend your energy on things that don't improve your life. If a stranger insults you, why waste a second of your time caring about their words? If someone tries to drag you into drama, why let it steal your peace? Your energy is precious. Spend it wisely. Ignoring negativity also applies to criticism. There will always be people who don't like you, misunderstand you, or try to bring you down, but their opinions don't define you. If you waste time trying to prove yourself to everyone, you will never be free. Instead of trying to change people's minds, focus on living your life on your own terms. Those who matter will understand you, and those who don't were never meant to. Social media and the internet make it even more important to master the art of ignoring. Every day, people are bombarded with opinions, arguments, and negativity. If you allow yourself to get emotionally involved in every online debate or negative comment, you will never have peace. Instead, practice scrolling past things that don't serve you. Protect your mental space the same way you protect your home, by not allowing toxic things inside. The ability to ignore what doesn't matter is a form of self-discipline. It allows you to stay focused on what truly matters: your growth, your happiness, and your peace of mind. When you master this, you become unshakable. You no longer waste energy on things that don't deserve it, and you move through life with a sense of control and freedom. When you master the ability to remain unbothered by others, you unlock a new level of freedom and inner peace. Life will always present challenges. People will have opinions. Negativity will exist, and frustrating situations will arise. But none of these things have to control you. By practicing detachment, ignoring negativity, maintaining a calm mind, and choosing where to place your attention, you take back your power. You no longer react impulsively but respond with wisdom and clarity. You stop seeking validation, rise above negativity, and refuse to let external forces dictate your emotions. True strength is not in controlling the world around you, it is in controlling how you respond to it. When you master this, no one can disturb your peace, and you become truly unstoppable.